Hello class, my name is Chanda Enoch. I would like to take you through the subject called geography. So first, before we get into the geography itself, we would like to know the introduction part of the geography. And as a result, I would like us to watch a certain video pertaining the same.
The third rock, the blue marble, Earth, home. Every person, place, or thing we know, everything we do, every memory we make, it's here on this pale blue dot. It's just one rocky planet in one solar system in one galaxy among billions. Even as we explore space, we study our home planet. We see it like no one else, an expansive ecosystem. The vegetation, the air, the water, the ice. Our data improves the way we grow food and how we manage the land we cultivate. NASA has over 20 satellites, measuring the height of oceans and inland waters, clouds and precipitation, carbon dioxide, and much more. For decades, our data has tracked how all these Earth systems interact. From above, we see the connections. Cities transition into farmlands. Tributaries flow into rivers, into the sea. Winds move clouds around the planet. Beyond these observations, NASA's ability to model and anticipate how the planet is changing helps communities around the world prepare. We see our changing planet, hurricanes, volcanoes, fires, and we see the impacts of humans, melting ice, rising temperatures. Earth's climate has changed and is still changing. Our data gives us the understanding to adapt and to protect our home planet in new ways. Our electric flight technologies will reduce fuel and save energy. We will make cleaner air travel possible. By understanding our changing world, we improve lives and safeguard our future. The future of our little rock in the universe, our Earth, our home.
So that's the first video that I wanted us to watch and take a look at keenly. So before we get into the lesson, I would like us to state that we are going to define the term geography, and we are also going to define the term environment and attempt to expound on them further by looking at the detailed part of them, that is geography and environment, so that we can have prompt knowledge pertaining what geography is and also pertaining what environment is. So I would like us first to get into our geography textbooks and actually have a look at or get the real meaning of what we mean by the term geography and also the term environment. So from there, I would like us to get into the main content matter, and that is definition of the term geography. And as it been found in textbooks, especially the textbooks that we've used, and also particularly dictionaries that we've used, we'll get into the definition.
The third rock, the blue marble, Earth, home. Every person, place, or thing we know, everything we do, every memory we make, it's here on this pale blue dot. It's just one rocky planet in one solar system in one galaxy among billions. Even as we explore space, we study our home planet. We see it like no one else, an expansive ecosystem. The vegetation, the air, the water, the ice. Our data improves the way we grow food and how we manage the land we cultivate. NASA has over 20 satellites, measuring the height of oceans and inland waters, clouds and precipitation, carbon dioxide, and much more. For decades, our data has tracked how all these Earth systems interact. From above, we see the connections. Cities transition into farmlands. Tributaries flow into rivers, into the sea. Winds move clouds around the planet. Beyond these observations, NASA's ability to model and anticipate how the planet is changing helps communities around the world prepare. We see our changing planet, hurricanes, volcanoes, fires, and we see the impacts of humans, melting ice, rising temperatures. Earth's climate has changed and is still changing. Our data gives us the understanding to adapt and to protect our home planet in new ways. Our electric flight technologies will reduce fuel and save energy. We will make cleaner air travel possible. By understanding our changing world, we improve lives and safeguard our future. The future of our little rock in the universe, our Earth, our home.
Of the term geography. So what is geography itself? So geography pertains to the study of the earth and its environment, including hydrosphere. When we mention about hydrosphere, that's water. And we are also having lithosphere, that is earth, especially the earth crust, which is composed of the outer crust and also the inner part of the earth. So apart from that, we also study the study of the atmosphere, and atmosphere is where we are having the amorphous carbon components of wind, a homogeneous wind flowing here and there across horizontally, and in the atmosphere we are having flora and fauna, and that is plant and animals. So all of these ones composed of what you call the geography. So geography is a very, very interesting subject to study as it articulates all what we interact with in the earth, and what we would like to know about the earth itself, the origin of the earth, and everything that entails the earth. So we can't actually avoid the study of geography because it's very important. Everything that we touch in each and everyday life is composed of geography. Why not now taking it? Because geography is very, very interesting subject itself. So apart from this, I would like us to get into what is composed of geography, because for geography to exist, there is a phenomenon that makes geography to be what geography is, right? And when you look at that phenomena itself, is the earth, right? Because we don't live in a vacuum, we live in the earth, on the planet Earth. So what is earth itself? What is earth? So earth is our home, of course. It's the third planet from the sun, and we are having several planets surrounding the sun, and that is including the 9 planets of them. The first one being the Mercury, Mars, Earth, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, onwards in their order orderly form. So we find that we are having 9 of them. So the Earth being the third one, the third planet surrounding the Sun, and it's actually the one having life. And when you talk about life, it's the one sustaining the oxygen that we breathe, the one sustaining the plants that we depend on. It's the one also pertains the living and non-living organisms that make our life bearable in order for us to survive. So the second point that I would like us to look at again is that the Earth is the 5th largest planet in the solar system. It's smaller than the 4 gas giants. The 4 gas giants, all the planets being the Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. So, but you find that the Earth is, of course, now larger than another 3 rocky planets. The rocky planets: Mercury, that is Mars and Venus. Mars and Venus. So you find that Pluto has not actually been refuted to be one of the planets, though it has some of the errors. It has some of the oblique facts about its existence around the Sun, because it crossed other paths. According to the discovery found in 2006, it crossed some of the paths that makes it to be actually oblate planet that's supposed to be accounted as one of the planets around the Sun. So, though some of the scientists also argue that Pluto is one of the planets, so it has not, the fact about it has not been established to the extent that we can refute it completely from being one of the components of the solar system or one of the planets. So apart from that, having seen the size of the Earth, and also in terms of the size, in comparison to other planets, we've seen the ones which are larger than Earth, the Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, and the ones which are smaller than, that is Mercury, Mars, and Venus, of course. Apart from that point, we would also like to touch something a bit on its size. The other one was composition of the Earth and the position, where it is. Now we are getting to another point, that is the Earth and its size. So when you would like to interrogate the Earth and what's the properties that it's composed of, is that the Earth itself is of the diameter of about 8,000, that is 13,000 kilometers, and it's mostly round because of the gravity. When you look at the factor, that is gravity itself, it is even giving the shape of the Earth on how we are seeing it, or on how it appears to us. For example, we are having gravity acting as the force acting towards the center of the Earth, actually pressing the Earth itself, and also making the polar regions, especially the Tropic of Capricorn and also Tropic of Cancer, to be flattened. That this is with the aid of some of the forces like the centrifugal force and also the centripetal force. So looking at the equator parts or the sides of the Earth itself is bulged, especially around the equator, giving it what you call an oblique spheroid shape, which is very, very important to note as far as the shape of the Earth is pertained. So you find that all these ones act as a result of the gravitational force, which generates also other forces in there. With the help of the gravitational force I've mentioned, that is centrifugal force and actually the centripetal force. So this is so interesting to know how the shape of the Earth is like and how it appears to us. Actually, it's a very, very amazing phenomenon. So let us look at the other part of our subject matter, that is the environment itself. itself. What's the environment? So the term environment is coined to be the composition of the surrounding, which is composed of living and non-living organisms. So we are having living organisms, that's animals and plants, and of course the human being in that category, because we are also being classified under animals. We are also under the living parts of the component of the environment. We are also having the non-living organisms. Non-living organism refers to those organisms which doesn't have life in them. So I think that's the clear distinctions between living and non-living organisms as far as the components of the environment is pertained, especially when you're looking at the meaning of the environment in this subject matter. So the living organism has life in them, while non-living organism doesn't have life in them. So it's a very, very clear distinction, as it's very, very vital to remember about those two main features in the meaning of the term environment itself. So apart from that, maybe to add on top is that we've so far looked at the term geography, and we've also so far looked at the term environment. So these are very, very important parts when you look at when we are studying the subject matter itself. And the result, I would like us to ask the question, pose to the class the question about the meaning of the term environment itself and the meaning of the term geography, as far as the lesson is concerned, as far as the way we've been instructed in the class. What is the meaning of the term environment, and what is the meaning of the term geography? So the question itself is very, very clear, and if we've been paying attention to the explanations and also through the video that we've just watched, it's supposed to give us a clear pathway on how we can define the term geography and we can define the term environment. So as the response from the class, I would like us just to add on top that geography itself is the way we've seen the study of the earth and its environs, right? And that is composed of the lithosphere, that is the crustal part of the earth. We are having the hydrosphere, that is water, the part of the earth that is water. We are also having the atmosphere, it's composed of the wind, amorphous carbon. We are having particles, we have water films. And it's very interesting how these things interact to make the earth what it is and contains what we are talking about as far as geography is concerned. We, apart from mentioning the atmosphere and emphasizing much about it, we have also talked about the hydrosphere, that is water. The water we found in lakes, the water we found in dams, artificial water, or human-made water bodies like in dams. We've also discovered that we are having water from the oceans, of which we have one near us, that is Indian Ocean. We are having Pacific Ocean. We are having Atlantic Ocean. So all these ones pertains to water. But you know, the hydrosphere is composed of the categories where we are having water bodies, which are, some of them are larger, while some of them are smaller water bodies. For example, we can talk about rivers. These are just flowing distributaries of or channels of water, mostly found in places to do with where the fault has taken place, and also the foot or the base of the rift valleys, and also the springs. When you start talking about the hydrosphere itself, it's very, very important factor to consider, especially how the water is formed when the evaporation of water, especially from the water bodies, get into the atmosphere through the evaporation, and at times it can take place through evapotranspiration, a result when we include the plants in the mix. When water evaporates, reaching a certain horizon, because it evaporates mainly because it is lighter. Reaching at a certain horizon, then you find that it changes the temperature. The temperature changes as a result of the cooling. It becomes so heavy, forming what you call condensation. But condensation in this case at times not heavy as such to deter or prevent the force of the gravity. The force of the gravity at this particular time has not reached to the extent that it can push this water down in terms of the droplets, because the water films still scattered. They are not compacted as such to make it good enough for them to be forced to come to the Earth's surface through the gravitational force. So until they condense or they coalesce together, or they form what you call compact water in terms of the humidity or the cloud itself. When the cloud changes its appearance, that becoming so nimbus or darkish in color, you find that it's so heavy and compact. The molecules of water are now compacted together to form the homogeneous water, which cannot resist the force of gravity for it to come down to the Earth's surface. As a result, it will now start to drop on the Earth's surface in terms of the droplets or the water drops in terms of the rainfall. So at times we coin it with using a term called the precipitation. So reaching the Earth's surface, this is just a scenario of how the water is formed up to the water bodies. Reaching the Earth's surface, we are having what you call interception. The water itself is being intercepted by the trees or the vegetations, by some of them being trapped, some of them drips on the ground, some of them flows on the stems and reaching the Earth's surface. So reaching the Earth's surface, we are having a totally phenomena taking place, that is a water runoff, right? Water runoff itself. So water runoff is composed of the underground water and water on the surface. When it runs along on the surface, we call it surface runoff, right? So surface runoff is composed of the water which is aided by the gradient of the topography or the nature of the slope of the Earth. When it is inclined to a certain angle that it is very steep in terms of gradient, it facilitates the speed of the surface runoff, and this one ends up in some information of some of the erosions because of the speed and the strength. So in terms of the formation of the erosion, it digs the earth to form some of the erosion in terms of the stages. That is classification, that is rail, gullies, splash, and also sheet erosion. So reaching at this stage, you find that they form a pathway, and some of them form what you call a river or the channel through this formation or through this process. Then they flow to the water bodies in terms of the distributaries of water to the water bodies. Some water also get into the ground through seepage or percolation. So when it gets in the ground, underground, the water, we call them underground water, right? So this underground water also moves, but it's a slower pace because it has some of the blockages in the underground, and it moves at a slower pace. So this is the kind of water when at times we dig the well, we find, right? We find this kind of water. Then apart from the underground water, we are having some of the water which is going deep part of the earth, interior part of the earth, to form what you call aquifer. So aquifer are water collected in the deepest part of the water of the interior part of the earth, especially in the bedrocks. So they form what you call aquifers. So aquifers also move, but at a slower rate compared to the groundwater itself. So they form what you call aquifer, but it is very clean. This water is very clean, and at times you find that it flows. It's normally being discovered when mining is taking place. For example, where we mine some of the minerals to the deepest part of the earth interior and come into contact with water, right? So this water also flows to the ocean in terms of springs. So in terms of springs, we find that it gets or join the lakes and also other water bodies like oceans, the largest ones, to form what you call water bodies that we've seen. So water bodies also have there are some of the water bodies which are having the outlets, some doesn't have the outlets. For those water bodies that are having the outlets, you find that they are fresh water, especially Lake Victoria is a freshwater lake because having the outlets. Others doesn't have the outlets, and as a result, they form what you call salty water, lakes like Lake Magadi, you see. So these also give a distinctive factor to determine the kind of the categories of water bodies that we are having around us. So apart from the phenomena of the outlet and inlet of the water forming the water bodies, we are also having the evaporation of water, especially when water flows, when water evaporates as a result of the energy that comes from the sun that hits the water. You find that in a certain circulation, the breeze manner, then they evaporate and form a cloud, and later on form what you call orographic kind of rainfall. So this is also very important to note. So evaporation also takes place in two forms: the evaporation from water and also evapotranspiration from plants, right? So you find that what we've just defined, or what we've just described, is what is known as water cycle, which aids into the formation of the water bodies that we are having on the Earth's surface that we've seen. That is the hydrosphere part of geography. Again, when we look at the lithospheric part of geography, we are talking about the Earth crust. We are having the outer surface of the Earth, and the outer surface of the Earth is composed of several features that we've seen or I've mentioned earlier as far as environment is pertained, like mountains, right? Inside part of the Earth, or the interior part of the Earth, is also composed of various parts, especially when you talk about Wittenberg discontinuity or Mohorovičić discontinuity. We are having the molten part of the Earth. We are having asthenos part of the Earth, and also we are having the interior core of the Earth, which is still very hot, as you can imagine. We are having, interior is composed of the two, the outer and the inner interior, which composed of some of the minerals found inside there, especially the iron. So it is still retaining the heat based on the theory that the overlay of the materials on them still compress and giving it the pressure and the pressure which intensify the heat in the inner part of the Earth. As a result, it's also believed that the heat which actually existed when the Earth was being formed is still retained up to date, and this is the reason as why the inner part of the Earth is still composed of the heat that we are having, or we are having. Apart from that, we are having several features found in the environment itself when we are talking about the lithospheric part of it, because we have to talk about the surface, the outer surface, the outer surface of the Earth, which is composed of various features. We are having mountains themselves, especially the fold mountain and fault mountains. We are having the plateaus. We are having the deserts. We are having apart from the desert, we are having the various kind of features that's like pyramidal peak. We are having Aretes. We are having Coris. We are having the stalagmites, we are having the stalactites, we are having the dune sand dunes, we are having the crescent sand, we are having various kind of features which are found on the environment, apart from mentioning the river that we have already described in the hydrospheric part. All these ones composed of the earth, or the lithospheric part of the earth. But we might wonder how these features are being formed, especially the mountain. The mountains are formed as a result of the forces, some of the forces operating underneath the earth's surface. That is the convectional currents. We are having the earthquakes. We are having the tensional forces and compressional forces. So how are they aiding to the formation of various features which is composed of the lithospheric part of the earth? We are having for example, right, for instance, convectional current, which is the rotation of the molten magma inside the earth's surface, which later triggered the formation of the forces, that is tensional and compressional forces respectively. So how are they acting? When the convectional currents are triggered by the temperature, result of temperature and the pressure existing beneath the earth's surface, they intend to flow in a circular manner. When they intend to flow in a circular manner, you find that at the surface of the outer parts of the earth, the underneath surface of the outer part of the earth, for example, I might be having a demonstration, a very short demonstration on the same. So we are having this outer part of the earth. We are having this outer part of the earth. But now the convectional current is acting beneath the earth's surface by rotating and heating, or hitting the underneath surface of the earth. When this happens, two forces are being generated. That is the tensional force and also gravitational force, depending on the movement of the rocks or the part of the lithosphere itself. They might move away from each other, they might move towards each other. But movement of this lithospheric part of the atmosphere is part and pertinent of the forces that are acting beneath them. That is compressional force and tensional force, geared by gravitational or geared by the convectional current acting beneath the Earth's surface, as a result of the molten magma. So tensional force tends to act in a way that they move the rocks, especially the rock, towards each other. Why do you say that the rock move towards each other? Where do we get this line where there's a space as why the rocks move towards each other? Because of the heating of the convectional currents, which create a certain void or the space in between the Earth's surface. Or we can talk about the cracks forming what you call a fault. When a fault or a divide line occurs, you find that the rocks tend to move away from each other, right? So to bring these rocks towards each other, there's a force called tensional force, which brings this kind of two blocks of rocks towards each other. When they meet, you find that there will be a brush. The two main phenomena. There are various phenomena which will take place. They will be brushed, or where shear and tear will take place, or they will be folded. As a result, if one of the rock, for example, this rock is stronger than this, it will press these ones, and we'll have what you call a fault mountain, right? So that's how the fault mountain normally being formed. As a result of that, we are also having compressional force, or rather tensional force. You may correct me for that. Tensional force tends to pull the rocks away from each other, making a line. So compression force tend to make the rocks to fold, by one being the hardest rock and the one being another one being the softer rock tends to contribute to a certain force which makes the other rock to go up, or they can be of the same hardness, and as a result all of them will go up as a result of the folding. So all these features are formed as a result of that those forces. Another one we can talk about apart from convectional currents, we can also talk about gravitational force existing on the Earth's surface, right? Yeah, which also brings about the features, the formation of the features on the Earth's surface, right? So apart from that, we are also having the earthquakes, volcanicity, all these phenomena which are taking place on the Earth's surface to form various features that we are having, and we've seen on the lithosphere part of the Earth also contributes towards the same. So again, we are having earthquake. Earthquake also can result as a result of isostatic adjustment, whereby there's imbalance on the Earth's surface, and hence one sinks, other part of the Earth's surface sink, or there's as a result of various kind of forces operating underneath the Earth's surface. So that's lithospheric. That's mainly lithospheric part of the geography. We are also having the flora and fauna, that's human beings and also plants that are found on the Earth's surface. So plants, the formation of the plants is very simple. From a single cell, that's the way will be interacting with the same information in biology and also in other areas of disciplines, and also the plants, the formation of the plants, the way we grow them and the way they come out from the earth, from the interior part of the earth, and we've seen the vegetation and also plants and different kind of the plants that we have on the earth's surface. So what else are we leaving out? We are having the environment. The environment is also composed of various kind of components that are found on it. So the environment, as been described earlier on, it's also mainly composed of the atmosphere, and the atmosphere itself composed of various kind of the factors like temperature, wind, rainfall, precipitation. We are having very many dust particles, at times we call them amorphous carbon. So all this one which makes the sustenance of our being on the earth. As a result of that, we are also having the ozone layers, and also where the energy originates from, especially when we are looking at the electromagnetic spectrums. All this one composed of what we call the atmosphere itself. And in more details, we'll look at it when will be continuing the study of the geography. And that is one as why I've been emphasizing that the geography is very, very interesting part of our study. And when you get deep, as the time goes on, we'll look at various interesting parts of the geography. And as for now, I would like us to stop from there and then have a look at some of the exercises that we are having so that you can attempt. So what are the exercises? I would like you to define the term geography. Second, I would like you to define the term environment. And third, I would like you to describe various features as I've already expounded on them on the Earth's surface, and also even in the atmosphere part of it, and also the features found in the environment. So take a look at them and take your time to go through them so that we can have enjoyable time studying this wonderful subject called geography. Otherwise, thank you.